Monday on NBC.
Your forecast first, sponsored by Stanley Steamer.
Last night was frigid. Tonight, we've got a blanket of high clouds. You can see it from our Posey Mountain WeatherBug Network camera. And what that does, keeps the temperatures a little milder. Look at that, 48 right now in Fayetteville, 45 in Rogers, mid-40s in the River Valley. High clouds streaming in. A weather system is on the way. This system zips across the United States. I'll show you that coming up in just a bit. How about your forecast first? Not too chilly tomorrow morning in the upper 30s. Slight chance of precipitation during the evening for one of the busiest travel days of the year. You do have travel plans. I'm going to show you across the entire country and what weather you can expect. That's all coming up as your news starts now.
Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA News at 10.
It's been 6 months since deadly tornadoes ripped through the heart of Northwest Arkansas on Memorial Day weekend. The biggest in EF3 uprooted lives and destroyed homes in Decatur. Rogers was hit with an EF2 tornado that destroyed businesses up and down Walnut Avenue. Both of those tornadoes broke records and the widest and second widest tornadoes in Arkansas history. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Sonia Hill. Doug Warner has the night off. The scars of that tornado that struck Rogers can still be seen when you drive through the city. And if you take a look at your screen, you can see some of the damage that was uncovered in the days following. Rogers Mayor Greg Hines says the event was by far the most devastating natural disaster he has ever seen.
Over $33 million in damage to city-owned facilities. So that's a lot of remediation. That's a lot of cleanup. That's a lot of projects to put together. And so I think what people will start to see in Q1 and Q2 of 25 is that building back process.
As Rogers continues to recover and adapt to a new normal, the mayor says he hopes the city will continue to be able to support those who still need assistance. And the Rogers City Council is taking action on some structures damaged by that Memorial Day weekend tornado. Tonight, it declared the Popeyes restaurant on Walnut Street a, quote, nuisance structure. What that means is the building must be removed in 30 days. Peter Masonis with the City of Rogers says this declaration is another step in the recovery process.
All that the city's really looking for is, a certain level of progress, a certain level of forward momentum, or, do we need to take this down in the interest of the safety of the citizens? And so, so that's the case with Popeyes.
And another structure that's being discussed, it houses Java Dudes on 2nd Street. The City Council took no action, and it could be discussed at the next meeting. Now, it is important to note that crews are working to tear down the structure at last check. The foundation is all that is left. And new tonight at 10, a federal judge is issuing a temporary restraining order putting on hold 2 laws that block foreign land ownership in Arkansas. The order is a result of a lawsuit filed by Jones Eagle LLC against Agriculture Secretary Wes Ward and Attorney General Tim Griffin. According to the lawsuit, Jones Eagle is owned by a man who immigrated to the U.S. from China as a child. He claims the state threatened to shut down his crypto mining site in eastern Arkansas due to perceived Chinese ownership. U.S. Judge Christine Baker granted the temporary restraining order, saying the state laws violated the 14th and 15th Amendments. The order will be in effect for 2 weeks. It also halts the Attorney General's investigation into that company. Neither Secretary Ward or Attorney General Griffin have issued any responses to this ruling just yet, but Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she posted this statement on X. She posted it this afternoon saying, quote, Arkansas has the only law in the country that has successfully kicked a communist Chinese company off our farmland, and a judge just blocked it. Our foreign adversaries have no right to American land. We will appeal this ruling and protect our state. Meanwhile, in Springdale, the cost of utilities is officially on the rise. The City Council passed 3 ordinances tonight to establish and charge new rates for sewer and water services. According to a proposal from Springdale Water Utilities, the rates will first increase by 38% and then to 20% in the next year. The plan is expected to go into effect on January 1st. KNWA is your local election headquarters. Voters across Washington and Benton counties headed to the polls today to cast their ballots early. In Washington County, lines were out the door at the county courthouse. We spoke to one Fayetteville couple who says voting in a runoff election is just as important as the general election.
It's our duty to come out and vote. If you don't vote, you can't complain, or you shouldn't complain.
And we love Fayetteville, we want it to be the most amazing place that it can be, so we're going to always come out for that.
Early voting continues through Monday, December 2nd. In Washington County, you can cast your ballot early at the county clerk's office, and in Benton County, you can vote early at the county admin building, the election commission in Rogers, or the county clerk's office in Siloam Springs. And for the hundreds who cast their ballot today, some were tasked with choosing who should be the next mayor of Fayetteville. KNWA's Casey Smith met with incumbent Lionel Jordan and Molly Ron for the second time this election season, catching up with them to see where their campaigns currently stand.
After the November 5th general election, the number of candidates vying for Fayetteville's mayoral seat shrunk from 4 to 2. Incumbent Mayor Lionel Jordan and experienced Fayetteville CEO Molly Ron are in a runoff election, something that neither candidate was caught off guard by. But for each candidate, their campaigns have continued for another month.
We were actively canvassing the city. We probably hit well over 2,000 doors. And then we're doing phone banking, and it's been very, very positive.
There was no downtime. I mean, in between election night and that very next morning, it was in very many ways like a new campaign, because at that point, everything resets to zero and you have to get back out there and get everybody back out.
Voter turnout, especially in runoff elections, can be an issue. In Washington County, on the first day of early voting ahead of the general election, more than 7,000 people casted a vote. But Tuesday, there were only 848 votes cast. Both candidates have kept that in mind as they're meeting with voters.
People go, well, you had the majority of the votes. We thought you'd already won. And said, no, I did not have 50%, over 50%.
Emphasizing that every vote matters.
It really can come down to you and your immediate family or you and your friends that make the difference in who leads the city next.
After the November election, Jordan garnered 46% to Ron's 36% of votes, but both are confident ahead of the December 3rd runoff.
I feel real good. I think we're going to win this runoff race. I really do.
I'm optimistic, but there is still a lot of work to be done.
Utilizing this next week to make their final pushes to voters on why they deserve to be the next head of Fayetteville.
I am stability in uncertain times, and there's 3 things I want the people to remember, and I think they already know that. I'm reliable, I'm dependable, and I will do to tie to in a tight spot.
I see a sense of urgency in our challenges. I think we need to act quickly, and I'm not afraid of acting quickly. I'm not afraid of being decisive. I'm not afraid of breaking ties. And so I think just bold and decisive leadership is what people have found that I offer and what they've gravitated toward.
That was our Casey Smith reporting. To read up on each candidate's stance on important issues in Fayetteville like housing, public transportation, and homelessness, we have that full story up right now on our website, KNWA.com. And there are a host of other races that will be decided by a runoff. Most are city council seats in Fayetteville, Siloam Springs, Lavaca, Pea Ridge, Rogers, Fort Smith, Centerton, and Bella Vista. But be sure to check our website for the full list. And continuing our holiday travel coverage, if you're taking to the skies this week, be on the lookout for a bogus TSA pre-check email. Many travelers use TSA pre-check to get through security with fewer steps and without waiting in long lines. And scammers, they know that, and they have recently made a fake TSA website. It promises you the chance to skip the lines by paying a fee, which in turn can be used to steal your credit card information. TSA is urging travelers to stay ahead of scammers.
If you're looking to get signed up for TSA PreCheck, we strongly recommend that you start the process at tsa.gov. We have our providers listed on there, and they'll actually let you pre-enroll for your appointment right there on the site. That will ensure that you're not going to get into any kind of situation where you may be scammed.
Now keep this in mind, when you first enroll in the actual TSA PreCheck, you pay in person, not online. TSA says their emails will never contain direct payment links. And with the airport seeing a record number of flights and it being a holiday travel week, Olivia Tyler with the Northwest Arkansas National Airport says if you plan on flying out of XNA, you should arrive at least 2 hours early. She also recommends you book your parking ahead of time at flyxna.com. If you happen to know a woman who's making a difference, we want to hear from you. We're in search of remarkable women who are making a big impact in your community. We are now accepting nominations. This contest is ongoing at our parent company, Nexstar, and their news stations around the country. The local winner here will win a $1,000 donation for the charity of her choice, and she will then be entered in a contest of more than 100 local winners from across the nation. You can submit your nominations right now on our website, KNWA.com. And the holidays are definitely a fun time, but it can be scary if our furry friends eat something they shouldn't. Coming up, we'll hear from an Oklahoma veterinarian about the things you should do to keep your pets safe this Thanksgiving. Courtney?
And it's rivalry week in college football, and the Hogs are hitting the road for it to take on, yes, the Missouri Tigers. How did the players feel ahead of this matchup and rivalry game? We'll let you hear from them coming up in your Big Trail Nation report.
Make sure those heaters on the sideline are working, because we're going to be watching the weather coming from Canada as multiple systems dive in. Will one of them impact Missouri and Columbia? We'll have the answer on that and take a look at our forecast coming up right after the break.
Total customer cash on Rogue.
Now, from the state's largest sports team, this is your Pig Trail Nation report.
It's a really, really challenging football game. They've got, like I said, really good quarterback. I think their offensive side of the ball, you know, with and I may mispronounce his name, but Talon Green.
I mean, I guess that was close. By the way, it's Talon Green, coach, exactly like it's spelled. Welcome in to your Pig Trail Nation report. Sam Pittman said Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwitz is always finding ways to stir up the rivalry. And you know what? That statement still holding true. You know, there's a lot of players who are new to Arkansas's football team this year, but they know what a win would mean over the Tigers this upcoming weekend. The Razorbacks have tried 6 times, but have never been able to beat Missouri in Columbia. We got a chance to talk with some of those players tonight, and they really believe that they can make some history this weekend.
You know, I feel like we have a good chance and a good opportunity this year to do so. Like Coach Pittman stressed to us, as soon as we won this past weekend, we've never won up there in Columbia, so we plan to change history this coming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, same goes for me. I know, the guys didn't perform well last year, and, we took it to the chin and, taking the game personal. So my brothers take it personal. It's personal to me.
Look, if Arkansas wants to win this game, their defense has got to play well, going up against another experienced quarterback in Brady Cook. And when asked about Arkansas today in his press conference, Drinkwitz was very complimentary of that group.
Obviously, last year they were going through some coordinator stuff and changes within their team. But I do think the defensive identity under Coach Pittman has been consistent, relentless pursuit to the football. They're playing a little bit more 3 safety defense in the last 3 games, which is very similar to what they did with Coach Odom. So you can tell there's a program style, complementary football. But obviously Coach Williams does a tremendous job of getting those guys playing hard, playing fast.
Arkansas and Missouri kicking off at 2:30 on Saturday on the SEC network. But Betts Harrison has the Tigers currently as 3-point favorites. Well, to the basketball court now. While you are eating turkey, the Hogs will be in Kansas City taking on Illinois in the CBS Thanksgiving Day game. Arkansas assistant coach Shane Coleman, very familiar with the Illini as he worked under Illinois head coach Brad Underwood for 4 years.
They're good. They're good. They're a top 25 team. They shoot 35 threes a game. So that's something that we want to obviously make sure we cut that attempts. We don't want them to take 35 threes. We want to cut those attempts in half. So we want them probably, our defense, to make them attempt about 20, right? And that means that they'll only make about 6 and not 12 to 14. So that's a huge point of emphasis for us going into this Illinois game.
And guys, and Sonia, sorry, I know that Dan has talked about the possibility of snow in Missouri for that game. Look, Taylon Green is a guy that's comfortable playing in snow. He talked about that tonight. He's played in it multiple times. He transferred in from Boise State, and with Boise State, he's played in that environment, in that snow environment. So he said, look, I'm comfortable playing in it, okay? Don't worry about me. So that is good news for fans out there, a little worried maybe about the weather.
Well, I'm glad that he's comfortable with the possibility of snow, Courtney, but I don't know how I would handle it.
Me either. I'd be cold. I'd be sitting there going, woo, I can't throw anything. I'm freezing.
You and I both, girl. Thank you so much for that report. Well, guys, you may want to stick around if you're doing some traveling this week. We're going to have your Thanksgiving travel forecast here right after this quick break.
The
Remarkable Women.
Your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff, certified most accurate by WeatherRate.
What a treat. We had a beautiful sunrise this morning and a gorgeous sunset this evening. In fact, here's a time lapse from our PG Telco WeatherBug Network camera, and you'll notice those colors really starting to pop at just a little after 5 o'clock, shortly after sundown, and also those blue shades in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This time of the year, man, those blues can look so gorgeous. Temperatures this morning showing a lot of blue shades on the temperature map. 24 for the low temperature in Fayetteville and below freezing in Fort Smith. Now tonight, not even close to a freeze, and this is why. We got clouds. Just like when you want to stay warm at night, you put a blanket over yourself. Well, that's what the clouds are doing. They're keeping that heat that we had throughout the day trapped in, and you'll see those temperatures not anywhere close to freezing. 42 in Castle, it's 10 degrees away. 44 in Fort Smith. If we look at the current winds, they're light, and the winds were out of the south today. Tomorrow, they will be out of the south, but switching to the north, and I'll show you that as a frontal boundary makes its way through. It's really passing south of us, but trough of low pressure will swing in. How about that? Gorgeous shot of the Bentonville Square, and we got the Fayetteville Square. Lights of the Ozarks underway. Looking a lot like the holidays. It'll be feeling like it, too, by the end of this week. In fact, already by Thanksgiving, you're going to feel the chill in the air. There's that current temperature. Look at the relative humidity at 50%. Pretty dry. Pressure is falling because we got this weather system on the way. Now, this is the same system that's been spinning off the Pacific Northwest for the last several days, but it's about to get that kicker system, and this thing is going to skedaddle on off to the east. So kind of like Taylon Green running on the field in the snow on Saturday. You can see a little bit of energy swinging in. By the way, this is not the precipitation. So I know sometimes you look at radar and you're like, oh, this is the radar. That's a lot of rain. The precipitation or the rainfall is out ahead of it. This is the spin in the atmosphere. Notice how that spin gets a little bit stronger, and then there's another system that's going to be diving in from the northwest. That's coming from Canada. It's got some cold air to work with. That's going to be focused over Missouri. Let me show you what that looks like and how it translates to the precipitation forecast. So this is the future radar from the European model. GFS is in pretty much agreement. System zips in. If you're traveling northward, you will encounter more precipitation in Missouri as well as Illinois and Indiana. Then that system organizes. Look at that. Right at the time for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, rain 100% is looking very likely. That system zips out. Here comes that clipper system Saturday morning, a little bit of light snow falling. Then it moves out. Sunday and Monday will be quiet and cold. So there's that system that moves across the United States tomorrow and into our Thanksgiving morning. So this is how it translates a little bit closer, as you'll see, maybe squeezing out a little bit of potential sprinkles, some drizzle. Flurry action will be way to the north. It's just not cold enough, but it will be feeling cold enough as those wind chills will be in the 30s. So for tomorrow, mid-50s, then we drop down to around 30 degrees for the morning low on Thanksgiving. And boy, is it getting colder than there. Look at the highs. River Valley, upper 40s, and that's it. And just to let you know, the 6 to 10 day and the 8 to 14 day outlook definitely looks like colder than normal on the East Coast and warmer than normal on the West Coast. So how does that translate tonight? Temperatures will be above freezing, upper 30s to lower 40s. Tomorrow we're looking at mid to upper 60s, or should I say upper 50s to mid 60s. I wouldn't say upper 60s because that front's coming in and it's going to drop the temperatures. Friday, much colder for Black Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be right around 50 degrees, and then you'll notice morning lows. My goodness, upper teens. That's some cold air that's coming in. River Valley is going to be right around the mid-teens or mid-20s on Monday and Tuesday with a slight chance of rain. So, you know, not overall, travel-wise, nothing super major unless you're going to the East Coast. That's going to be some delays.
Oh, I mean, what will you be dealing with in the East Coast? What are
that major system that's coming in right during Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So I'm going to be eagerly, anxiously watching to see what the weather looks like in New York on Thursday.
I think a lot of us will be. That's a big deal.
I know. It is a big deal. And I can't remember the last time where they've had a lot of rain. And I don't know, but they still do those outdoor performances, the dancing, all that stuff. It's wet.
I guess we'll see on Thursday.
We'll find out.
Dan, thank you. And as you finalize your Thanksgiving plans, don't forget about your furry friend. We'll hear from a vet about ways to keep your pet healthy and happy when we come back.
You're watching KNWA News at 10.
Well, some of you are probably anticipating this, but with the holidays approaching, our homes are sure to get hectic. All the hustle and bustle of preparing meals, friends and family stopping by, or maybe your family is hitting the road. But there's no doubt about it, the holidays can be hazardous for our furry friends. And keeping our pets safe during the Thanksgiving holiday, it takes a little bit of planning. Make sure your dogs or cats or their collars, they have their collars on and that they're microchipped, that their information is up to date in case they happen to escape from your home. One Oklahoma veterinarian says that she sees a spike in calls at her clinic around Thanksgiving due to food.
The main foods we want to avoid during Thanksgiving would be onions, bones, anything that's really fatty, anything that's extremely sweet, so no chocolate, no pies, no desserts. We want to avoid garlic, raisins, grapes. There's a whole list of foods we want to try to avoid.
And furthermore, if you're doing some traveling, make sure that your pets are up to date on their vaccines. And if you're going by car and your furry friend tends to get a little anxious, talk to your vet about a possible sedative or something to calm them down while they're in the car. Every child deserves to unwrap a gift on Christmas morning, and here at KNWA, we are working to make that a reality through our magical Christmas toy drive. What you're seeing is a live look inside our toy vault, inside our Rogers Bureau. Now, if you want to help us fill this vault, you can donate toys at one of our sponsors' locations. You can find that full list of drop-off sites on our website, knwa.com. Don't go anywhere just yet. Dan Scoff will have a final check of that forecast right after this break. We have a very special goodbye.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a goodbye from me to Josh. Josh, our director extraordinaire. He is moving on from news to be working, basically doing some video for Walmart. So it'll be pretty awesome.
And you know what? He's going to do a great job. Josh, we love working with you. You're going to be so missed here at KNWA. And there he is in the shadows.
Now, he's working tomorrow, but I'll be off. And I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving as well. And a wonderful holiday. And we'll see you next week.
All righty, guys. Have a good night.